Hey, Queens, did you ever feel like you weren't really happy with your life? And maybe if you got a boyfriend or a husband, you would be a lot happier? So, then this video is for you. I want you to think again. It is true that a husband or finding, the one will be highly fulfilling and it will make you happier. This is for sure. But the point that I want to make with this video is, are you looking for a savior? So you may not be thinking you are, but let me tell you a little story, an example, and then maybe you can think if this is your case. So one of my clients, a very long time ago, she was kind of a bit in a rut altogether, and she was really looking like for a change in life, a change of scenery. You could tell she was like, she wasn't saying that quite up front, but you could tell she was wanting that. And she met this guy that lived in Costa Rica. And she consulted me about this whole topic and moving to Costa Rica with him and stuff. And really and truly, what she was looking for was to escape her boring life. Naturally, she thought it was boring because she had never gone out of her city. She had never lived abroad, never really traveled. So she was looking for a man to rescue her in that regard. Another example I have is kind of my entire country. As you guys know, I am born and raised in Mexico, and I lived there until I was 20 years old. And that's where I learned, that's how I grew up being, in the feminine energy and all that stuff. That's how I learned a lot of the stuff that I know in that regard. But there's one thing that the Latina women there's an issue the Latina women had. Number one, they didn't really have any dark feminine energy. For the majority of them didn't have that. They were all, love and light, nurturing, and receivers, and all those things. But they didn't know how to put themselves first and be savage when they needed to be. They were nice girls for the most. And the reason for this is that they never really became their own dream women. So they never really integrated their own masculine energy. They never learned how to use that. You see me talking about feminine energy in pretty much all my videos, right? But part of the point of this video is, do you know how to utilize or activate your masculine energy when you need to? To become your own dream woman, you typically need to use and integrate or activate part of that masculine energy in spurts, in like moments. You're not meant to be in that energy 24/7, or else you're going to be dysfunctional and you'll have issues, health issues, all that stuff. So you not fulfilling your dreams, not going after things that you want to do, becoming the person you want to become. For example, if you want to be in shape, did you go out and get in shape? If you wanted to work in X or Y field, did you go out and pursue it? If you wanted to travel the world, did you go out and pursue it somehow on your own? You can do that with a man too, but it's a problem when you are like a little girl, like a little child. And that's what a lot of the Mexican women, they had as a problem. They had never worked. So really and truly, they were afraid to do what needs to be done in the event that things went awry. And not even that, because when you know how to use your dark feminine energy, you don't even need to do that. You'll be savage and there will never be the need, or it'll never really come to, or rarely will it come to like, I'm going to leave this guy. So what happened there is that women acted from a place of fear of being on their own, and always acted kind of like they're there for life. And even though you want to enter a marriage and all of that with that intention of being there for life, there's a problem when your energy and your demeanor and the dynamic has your fear, and you're afraid to leave. So it is the same thing. Basically, like the women there, a lot of them, men were like their savior, their daddy. And you know what happens with that? The men, they abuse that. Whether it be here in China, in Canada, in the States, they will abuse that. When you are in that little girl, wounded feminine or wounded masculine, whatever the fuck that is, right? Where you're more like a child than a grown woman, right? So a lot of times you see this whole problem and dynamic that I'm talking about with the women that only can get money from men. Kind of like the only source of abundance to you is a man. So you see this with the sugar community, where they think they have to do this for a living, or they don't have the ability to, you know, to use any other means. Maybe they don't want to, and that's fine. But if you or they or anyone thinks that the only way to get things is through a man, you're putting yourself in that situation of being like a little girl who needs daddy to provide. So a daddy can be a provider, right? But that type of provider, it's not for you to like, you know, them, the husband, the man, they love the damsel in distress. They love to be able to help you. They live for that. But there's a fine line in you wanting to receive that, in you knowing how to receive that and making it a lifestyle and an art, and a fine line between you being afraid and scared of like, what if he leaves me, or he can be an asshole and I'm here to take it all because I'm afraid to leave him because I have nowhere to go. I've never worked. I don't know how to take care of myself. So you do need to know how to take care of yourself. You do need to know how to go after your dreams. You do need to be a go-getter when you need to be a go-getter. Yeah? So that is using your masculine energy. You do need to use that. And also the dark feminine side too, right? So when do you hear this? So when you hear women that want a super rich husband, do they want a super rich husband because you just want that? Or because you literally expect this man to kind of solve your entire life? Yes, they are there to solve your life and all of that. But do you do it from a place of being a little girl? Or from what place are you coming from? Hopefully from a place of empowerment where you're like, you know what? It's my feminine energy where I can have whoever I want. That's great then. But are you expecting a man to be your savior? It's a problem when you expect him to be your savior. Man, I'm kind of forgetting a lot of examples right now, but it's so common. It's a girl who is typically, putting the responsibility of her entire life in someone else or in the circumstances, or it's like a different level of consciousness, right? A lot of times it's a victimhood that you find in this sort of girl, or you know what I'm saying? So I really want you to, I want to invite you to really be your own dream woman without staying stuck in your masculine energy, and learning to integrate these two things and never really seeing men as saviors. They can be your protectors, your providers, but it's different when you're expecting them to really save you from yourself. It's different. One of them is empowered and the other one is more like victim. For example, my client, when I told her, hey, like, so you're wanting to go to Costa Rica because really and truly what you want to go is live abroad and do things. But you're kind of using the guy to do that because he's not even good for you. He wasn't good for her. He was using her for sex. So see, she was using him to live abroad. He was using her for sex. The same girl, the same client, she had married a guy, a very rich guy, who was using her for clout, for looks, because she was very good looking. She was an influencer, a model, fitness model. And she was using him for clout and money. You would think it's a symbiotic relationship, but of course it never went anywhere, or neither did any of those types of relationships where they were more parasitic, not even symbiotic, but more, parasitic, if you will. So I hope you get my gist, and I'm hoping you think about where you stand. Are you your own dream girl, or are you looking for a savior? Because that will never replace you being your own dream girl. Are you able to pull your masculine energy when you need to, whether it be for a particular dream, whether it be for a business or getting in shape, whatever it is. You still need that, because all just feminine energy, it's not all good. You need, I wouldn't say balance exactly, because balance maybe hints to equal amounts, but you need to be able to be well-rounded and integrate masculine energy when you need to. So anyway, ladies, that's it for now. Let me know in the comments if this resonates. Talk to you guys later.